Welcome to a new episode how to learn JavaScript from beginner to advanced. Today I would like to learn you about how to select a file from your computer using a file input in JavaScript. Welcome to this beginner friendly JavaScript tutorial, and today we are going to learn how to select a file from your computer using a file input and then display its name with JavaScript. Don't worry if you are new, we'll go step by step and we'll explain everything in an easy way. Sorry for my English, I didn't study in the school, but it's not my excuse, just inform you. Okay, let's see the HTML code. I create here an HTML, simple HTML with a div, and inside this div I have an input. This is the important part of this code, this input with ID file input. This is my input. It's a button of type file, but is like a button, but the type of this element is file, type equal file. You can upload file from your computer. When you click on this button, window will be open, and from from your computer you can upload some files. Now I can't upload because I didn't have the logic in JavaScript behind this code. If I see here, I didn't have nothing, and doesn't work. But let's get started for create a JavaScript code. Initially I have this file input now, and for this should to create a variable for make a reference to this element, and I used a file input is the name of this variable, const file input equal document.getElementById file input. I use here document.getElementById file input to grab the input element from my HTML. Is this no? And input type equal file is where the user will select it file, this button. I store this in a variable file input because I want to use it later. Now should to set up an event listener for when the user select a file, when the user click here. And for this approach you have an event called change. This change will be triggered when somebody will select from his computer some files. The difference between click event and change event is click will be triggered immediately when you click on an element, but this change will be triggered just when you select from a window an element or more. Again, I show you, I click here. If I have a click event, now will be triggered, but my change element will be triggered just when I select from my computer some file, and I click again this button. Just in this moment will be trigger change event, because change event it's simple in JavaScript. It's eloquent. It's intuitive. The keyword, this keyword change mean change. No, something is not like before. My code is not like before because I put a new image, and this change check these things, and if you see that something is in other state, will be triggered. But let's to put on this variable file input this add event listener with change file dot add event listener add event listener, do you know, is a callback who have two parameters. First parameter is the event, in our case is change. This is change. I don't know if you work with change, but this is for inputs when you choose for your computer some file, and a function. I create a function with a parameter event, and the statements. I use the event because when I accessing the file from my computer, I will use event.target.files. And let me to write this. I create a new variable selected files, and I access the selected file using the file properties. These files is a property of input, is a property of this element. And for example, if in HTML I would like to access an element with ID, I put here event.target.id, because ID is a property of my div, for example. But here I have files, a property of input. Okay, we are listening for a special event. I tell you, this is change. That event happens whenever the user pick a file. We use change in add event listener to tell JavaScript, hey, there is been a change from the previous state. When the file input change, run this function. If you see that is a change, run this function from add event listener. And in this add event listener, initial I selected the file from my computer, event target file, because inside our function we want to know which file the user selected. So we use this event target dot files. Okay, that give us a list of all the files that the user picked. Event.target.file give us a file list like an array object that contain the file selected by the users. But now we should to check if at least one file is selected, because when I open this window, when I click, maybe I didn't choose nothing, no, but should to check if these selected files are greater than 0, because we do that by saying if selected file.length is greater than 0, no? That means if the list isn't empty, if there is a list1 file, then go ahead with this function, with the next step. And let me to create this condition: if selected file dot length is greater than 0, if I choose one element, at least one should to happen here. If I choose an element, I want to take the first element, and for the first element I have a variable, and I select it with a method that are commonly with arrays. Selected file square brackets 0.name. These square brackets are specifically for arrays, and means the first file in the list. And name give us just the name, like for example, I don't know, photo.jpg or dog.png. Doesn't matter what do you choose. After this, I want to show the file name on the page, and how to do this? I get the name of the first file with this selected file of 0.name, and with text content, I will display this file name. And I have document.getElementById file info.text content equals selected file string plus file name. File name is the first element of my file, or my first element of my files that I selected from my computer. Else, let's to put an else. Else no file selected. I will put no file selected. Okay, so we go back to our HTML and find an element with ID file info. This is, here will be display, here will be displayed the name of my file that I selected from my computer, and this else is for handle the case where no file is selected. And but what if the user didn't pick anything? In that case will be run this else code. Okay, let's see if it works. I click this button. In this moment my change event is not triggered, because it's triggered just in case I change something. And I choose something. In my case I choose some images. The second, unbelievable, one pictures this. And my, in this case my code running, and do you see here appear this code? I click and I selected something. This is the first selected file, 0.name. but my code doesn't work. Why doesn't work? Here below should to appear this name, because here I have this code. In this paragraph put selected file plus this name. File name is my name. Okay, let's see again. Firstly, I create make a reference for take ID of input, because I want to manipulate it, and for on this input I will add an addEventListener change, and on this in this addEventListener will be run a function. Initially const selected file, I select a file from my computer. Here is a problem. Let me to see, I didn't have missing semicolon. If selected files that length is greater than 0, selected that length is greater than 0. Okay, const file name selected file name, file info text content else. Let me to run again. I will restart. Click on this. No, click on this. This is the second selected file 0.name. Selected file 0 because it's the first that I selected here, and event.target.files is this. No, let me now to see, and now it's okay. In my paragraph appear this selected file plus file name. File name is the first element that I selected from my computer. Name is a property, and display the property. Now and that it's it. Now you know how to use and how to let user choose a file and display his name using JavaScript. If you are just starting out, don't worry, just practice this a few times and it will be total okay. Thanks for watching, and if you find this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more beginner friendly coding tutorials. See you next time.